So this is a public service announcement. I mean, I'm just going to call it that because it's something that affected me, that I think could be affecting other women as well. So, yeah, I'm going to get into that. I can't necessarily say affected as it's still affecting me. So, for me, for the last 2 years, I have not felt like myself at all. And, of course, Rona, right? So my assumption was just like, I don't really go outside like as much as I used to, except for the only time I really go outside is when I go jogging. And then Wednesdays, like I have a job that I go to that's actually outside. But other than that, like I pretty much work from home. So, I kind of look at the fact, I'm a therapist, I'm a YouTuber. I'm in sessions all day. I'm recording in the evening. Like, no YouTuber goes outside. Yet, there were differences in my personality that everyone who knows and loves me, and that's like, people who are in my life every day, just like kind of noticed. And I felt like for myself, what I was kind of realizing was like, dude, it's like my emotional regulation is like hella off to where, if something goes wrong, I'm typically like the person that's like super positive, is not his paradigm, like all the things, right? But for some reason, I noticed for like the last 2 years, I was like, dude, like, if something happens, it's like I find myself like just getting extra. You know what I'm saying? Like where I'll get really, really sad or really, really angry. And I noticed with myself, I was like, dude, this is so not me. Now, you guys know I advocate therapy all of the time. So, what do you think your girl did? I put myself in therapy, and my therapist is literally looking at me like, why are you here? You know what I mean? Because with everything that, like any therapeutic intervention of what it is I'm feeling, right? It's like, I know what the intervention is, but I'm just like, I just feel like I don't have control over it. Like it's something inside of me that's happening, right? And typically, most therapists, I mean, at least what we should be doing, is whenever someone starts therapy, it's like suggesting that a client goes to, their primary care physician and gets like blood work done, right? So then it's like, in these last 2 years, all of a sudden I literally became like a recluse to where like I said before, I literally don't go outside. I've always been like a little baby socialite, not saying that from other people's perspective, totally from mine. Like I am the friend that drives to my friends' houses. They will co-sign this. And I will literally like bring you clothes or pick out an outfit out of your closet and literally drag you out of your freaking house and make you go out. But I just kept blaming it on Rona. I was just like, we just went through like a whole, worldwide freaking pandemic. We were locked in the house. Like, maybe that's just what it is. Even though with all of the research that's coming out on, therapeutic interventions on people who are, on the struggle bus with having gone through Rona, I'm just like, the symptomology isn't really relating to what I'm going through. And then I noticed I developed pica. And pica, it's in the DSM-5. But it's like I got this really weird obsession with ice, right? So it started with me with popsicles. So I would like buy like, you go to the little hood store and it's like the little popsicles that are like in the little sack. It's like, like a little net sack. I was literally buying those and eating those like religiously, right? But then it got to the point where that wasn't enough. And I literally was like, every day I would start my day with like this big tall like cup that I had. I'd fill it with ice and ice water, and I'd drink the water. And as the ice started to melt, because it was like a perfect little consistency, like you guys, it was like such a total like addiction. I kid you not. But I had like a special like time frame of when the ice would be like the right consistency to where I would have a spoon and like eat it. And literally like every place in my house, like I have like a little napkin to sit the cup on, right? And I would let like the ice like, melt or whatever. So the cup would like drip and I would have a spoon to like eat the ice. And this is something like all of my clients have literally watched me do, right? So I was thinking about a friend of mine, and her and I used to share an office, and she was eating like snowball ice, right? And that's like something down here. It's like a little frozen treat thing. And she used to get them with like no flavor, like, because it's like a syrup that you put on. And she would just eat that. And she had fibroids, right? So I was like, I don't think it's that. You know what I mean? But mind you, this is still me trying to self-diagnose, and I am a therapist, not a medical doctor, right? So my therapist is like, I think you should go to the doctor, because she was just literally saying, which is something that happens a lot, and I really should have known better. It's like a lot of times, like why it is, oh my gosh, why is my hand shaking? It's probably because I just got blood work on this arm. Oh God, wait a minute. I literally feel like I have to hold it with two hands because my arm just won't stop shaking. But anyway, so my therapist is like, I think you should go to the doctor, because there's a lot of times where when you first start therapy, those of you guys who've been at therapy, it's like, you know, depending on who your therapist is, like some people are going to do what we call a biopsychosocial, where it's like your medical history, your mental health history, like presenting problems, your belief system, all the things, right? But typically what you'll do is, if there's something where you're trying to narrow down a diagnosis and you can't really, you know, like say if a person has symptomology but it's not quite lining up, it's like you'll typically refer that you go to your, you know, general practitioner for the, like, you know, asking when a person's last checkup was, and, you know, ask them to get blood work done. So that is what my therapist suggested that I should do, because it was just kind of like, how is it that you're saying that this is what's going on and you know what to do, and it's like you're doing it, but the way I kept describing it, I was like, I just feel like it's something inside of me. But yeah, I'm like, it's something inside of me, and this is where, you know, my whole like woo-woo psychic girl kind of kicks in. And it's the fact I keep using that verbiage, right? Where I'm like, it's something inside of me, right? Like not like a demon or anything. So anywho, I go to the doctor, I get blood work done, and then I find out, like today I literally left from the doctor because I had to get more blood work done. I hate blood work, but anyway. But I ended up finding out from my results from my last appointment that I have dangerously low vitamin D levels, right? First thing I asked my doctor is like, oh, is this because I don't go outside? And she was like, no, this has nothing to do with that. She's like, this isn't just like, oh, Rona happened and we were inside for like, you know, all of this time. And it's like, oh, your levels just got low. She's like, I literally don't know how you're functioning. Like, that's how low my vitamin D levels are. Like, she's like, I don't know how you're functioning. And just like, she was telling me like with the general level that they want you to be at is, and I'm like so far below that, like to the point where she's literally like, I don't even know how you're functioning. So when she gets into the symptomology of what having like an extreme vitamin D deficiency is, it's all of the stuff I've experienced for the last 2 years. It's like all the stuff with me where I was just like, this isn't like me, just like the extra fatigue. My freaking arm is shaking and that's really annoying me. But anyway, but it's like the extra fatigue or like stuff that I've done, like my YouTube videos and stuff. It's like, I always like, even when I was still working in clinics, like, I mean, I could knock them suckers out 3-4 o'clock in the morning and it didn't bother me. But I was just like, dude, I said, it seems like with the simplest stuff, it's like a chore for me to do the simplest things. And I was like, this is not like me, right? So on top of like the emotional regulation thing, to where, you know, something happens, like, you know, because child, I'm not even gonna get into that. But where I live, it's like a little thing with, you know, our sewage and water board company where, you know, they just be liking to not read meters and they just estimate, really guesstimate how much a water bill is. So it's like something that's as simple as that, where I could easily just like call, right, and get it straight. It's like my whole world is like falling apart. And I'm just like, dude, who are you? And it was tripping me out, because I'm like, I know myself. I know all of the, you know, shit I've been through in my life. And it's like, this is petty shit. That's literally like, why am I feeling like this, you know? And it turns out the entire symptomology for, ooh, Charlie Andrews just posted Jello shot recipe. Okay, see, you know, the way my ADD set up. Shout out to Charlie Andrews. Like, I love his YouTube channel. Anyway, but it's like all this stuff that I'm just like, dude, this is totally not me. But when she goes through the whole symptomology of what a vitamin D deficiency is, like, well, not what it is, but like what the symptomology is when your levels are as low as mine were, it's literally what I experienced for the last 2 years. So there could have been so many things, like, I mean, implications to my freaking bone density, like my teeth, like all kinds of stuff. And it's like, for me, it's like I kind of think about that because some of you guys know that it's like I've been in the process of getting dental implants for like years because it's a long ass freaking process. Like, it's a whole ordeal. But it's like just different things that I notice with like the fragility of like my teeth and stuff like that. And I had no freaking clue that it was a vitamin D deficiency. Like me eating ice. But me eating ice, like, y'all, I was eating ice so bad my freaking ice maker in my brand new fridge is freaking broken. Okay? And then I was so obsessive that I literally, like, it's like I have, like, you know, like my fridge, I can pull out the little drawer. And when my ice maker stopped working and it's taken like forever for the freaking repair people to come, I legit started pouring water in the ice bucket and letting it freeze. And like, I got an ice pick to chop it up because it's that freaking bad. And it's like, it's some weird obsessive shit. And I'm just like, what is wrong with you? Why are we doing these things, right? But pica is another symptom of it. And typically people will think about anemia. But with all of my blood work, I'm not anemic. Which is the craziest thing because, you know, I don't feel cold or anything like that, like, which is like the typical things. But my vitamin D is so freaking low, dude. It's been affecting me in ways like with my mood, with all of this stuff. So the whole reason why I'm making this video to tell you this is to stress the importance of not just therapy, but your overall freaking health. Like, going to see a therapist is lit, but something that I know for sure as a therapist is like a lot of times there can be something that's a strictly medical condition that's going on with a person that can manifest with mental health symptomology. Because like another thing with having an extremely, you know, low vitamin D level or whatever is it can cause depression. You know what I'm saying? Like all of the things, like it's so much stuff. But it's like I'm to the T like a textbook case of what that looks like. And it feels good to know, you know what I'm saying? But I'm saying this as a cautionary tale for all of you guys out there who watch me, follow me, are clients of me. Like, go to your doctor, get blood work done. Like, take this shit seriously. Because even though we reincarnate, you only live this life once. So, I love your face.